Hello and welcome back, I'm Lygo and this is My Life in Football Manager episode 44, and today we've got coming up a brief season review and our transfer plans for the summer. So if you're excited for the transfers, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager content on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and let's get this started. Now I'm not going to dwell on the season review too much because we only had half a season here at Leicester, but let's have a look at the transfers in. Some big transfers here. Todd Cantwell 40 million, Damsgaard 40 million, two players that probably didn't hit their peak, possibly could be moving on. Matty Cash 13 million from Burnley, only played 3 times. Is he worth keeping around? Who knows. And then Taylor Howard Bellis played 1 game, was a 35 million signing. Not really sure what the previous manager was doing here, but a lot of work to be done. There's confirmation of our 9th place finish. Moments to remember, we won't dwell on that because we weren't here. Annual revenue is a little bit down in sponsorship, broadcast revenue's down, but prize money, corporate and hospitality and match day are on the increase, which is good. We're still a continental club reputation, which is good to see. The team of the year looks like this: Truscottia in goal, Eduardo Luis, Farfana, Soyuncu and Araujo at the back. That was my first choice back four, so that's interesting to see that. Schlager and Garner in midfield, I think that could definitely be improved on. Ramirez, Cantwell and Lo Celso, the attacking midfielders. Could be some movement there because of Ramirez being a wanted wonder kid. And then Lo Celso went back to Spurs. He was only on loan. Cantwell, probably not the best player and possibly could be moving on. And then David Meher was the striker. I believe he moved out in January because he's no longer here at the club. They're the accolades for this season. The Fans Player of the Year and Young Player of the Season, Reginaldo Ramirez. So it'd be interesting to see if we can keep him here. I think this could very much be a big summer for Leicester. And let's have a look. Let's start with the club vision and expectations. So we'll go in and negotiate this. They want us to continue playing entertaining football, signing young players. Also make the most of set pieces, which is favoured, so it's not integral. Work within the wage budget, 4-year contracts for first team players, very happy with that. We spoke about previously that the club are intent on developing the best youth system into the country, which I'm very happy with if they continue to fund that. But by the end of next season, they're looking for a top half finish. Ideally, I'd like to be back in Europe, and then beyond that, they want to be best of the rest. So we're going in the right direction. So we'll confirm and finish there. Come and have a quick look at the squad dynamics. We've got team leaders Harvey Barnes, Wesley Farfana and Soyuncu. 3 big players there. How many of them are going to stick around? I don't know. Soyuncu and Farfana are our best centre-backs. I think possibly one of them could move on. They're both around the 30 mark. Harvey Barnes as well, also around 30. So if we can move them on for big money, it might be worth doing. So we've got the housekeeping from the end of the year done. And if we come and have a look at this that's coming in our inbox already. So the 15th of May, this could be a long, protracted summer for Reginaldo Ramirez. Already linked with a €94 million move to West Ham. And I know he's got a release clause in his contract. Let's have a look and check how much that is. So a minimum fee release clause of 119 million. If we can get that for him, I'd be happy to sell. Because even though he is the best player at the club, we want to do a rebuild this year. And we're going to need money to do that, so that would go a long way to getting 2, maybe 3 players in. So the last thing to do before the transfers is come to our team report. Let's have a look at the squad depth. I've already identified that we're going to stick with the 4-2-3-1, so we can have a look at this, get an idea of what we want to improve on through the summer. And we'll start with the goalkeeper and work forward. Thomas Truscottia is 33-year-old. He's wanted, his first choice keeper. And to be honest, I wouldn't be against keeping him around because, yes, he's not the best keeper, but he is experienced and could probably mentor a young keeper if we can bring one of them in. I think Kieran Slicker isn't much other than a backup, so maybe a young keeper to challenge Truscottia, but very much is not a priority. Looking at the defence, we've got 2 good left backs in Matt Vienko and Araujo. Maybe he could improve on that. Wouldn't be against selling Matt Vienko. Araujo can also play as a left winger, so his versatility would keep him at the club, I think. Looking at centre-backs, we've got some good options here. We've got Farfana, Soyuncu as mentioned. 2 experienced defenders there. Barrio Nuevo, who we saw play against Man United. 21-year-old Argentinian. He's got bags of potential, so I want to keep him around. He's definitely going to be one for the future. And then at right-back, we've just given a new contract to Eduardo Luis. He's going to be our first choice right back, wing back. Currently wants to play as a wing back on defend. I want to move him to a wing back on support because he's not the best going forward, but he's a very good option. So happy with that option that we've got there. Behind him, we've got Matty Cash. I don't think Matty Cash is going to be much other than a backup. So we can keep him around. He can also play right wing or as a central midfielder. I think, again, similar to Araujo, his versatility keeps him within the squad. Moving on to the centre of midfield, I think this is where we need some very big additions. We've got Garner and Schlager. They're okay. Schlager, 30-year-old. I don't think he's going to take this club to the next level. If we can move him on, great. If not, he's a good squad player. Similar to Garner, 27-year-old, currently valued at 53 million. Again, good box-to-box player, deep line playmaker. Is he going to take the club to the next level? Probably not. Who wants him? West Ham. So, again, a player that if we can get big money, great. If not, good squad player. Beyond that, I think our only other option is Jamie Shackleton, another player that's just not good enough, unfortunately. So, centre of midfield requires a lot of work. And then looking at the attacking midfielders, Reginaldo Ramirez we've already spoken about. Then we've got Harvey Barnes, Todd Cantwell. On the right-hand side, we've also got young Felipe, another wonder kid. So if there are some transfers, hopefully he can step up. I think the attacking midfielders are very much, if somebody leaves, we're going to have to replace them. I don't think they're a priority going forward. And then strikers, we've spoke about previously as well. Gibraltar, not going to be European striker. He's probably okay as a squad player because he can play out wide as well. I think similar for Schwartz. He's not the player to take us to the next level. He's a good option, but not a main striker. So with the squad assessed, I'll play through to the end of the summer. I'll make the transfers and I'll rejoin you then. And hopefully we should have a better looking Leicester squad that's able to compete for European spots next season and give us a good foundation, possibly for a Premier League win in the future. So it's now the 2nd of September. We've had a very busy summer and we are also the biggest spenders in the UK market, spending a total of €234 million this summer. So let's go have a look what we've done and where that money's been spent. So straight into the transfers, transfer history. And we'll start at the end of last season, because once the season ended, we went straight on the hunt for players. And as early as June, we started getting players in. I'm not going to look at every player because there are a couple of younger players that were brought in to bolster the youth teams. So the first main signing was Marwan Bazubia from AZ Alkmaar, €53 million. He's a Dutch wonder kid, 20 years old, going to be playing as an advanced forward. I see him as a striker. Looking at his ability, he's got plenty of pace, he's reasonably strong, 5'11", not the tallest but reasonable in the air still. Just got to improve that finishing. Currently at 11, his composure's 16, so looks good so far. Currently 3.5-star ability, 5-star potential, so I think a big signing there. He was then followed up another €53 million spend. João Vieira from Sporting Lisbon, same current ability, another 5-star potential wonder kid, 20-year-old Portuguese attacking midfielder. He's going to be playing in that role as well. This is a player that is creative, he's got plenty of vision, he's got the passing ability and the technique to pull them passes off, but also likes to move into the channels and get into the opposition area. So expecting plenty of goals as well from him this year. And then the third signing before the takeover, Mohamed Salah. He's come in but gone straight out on loan. A player potentially for the future. And then players out before the takeover. Let's go have a look at these as well. A lot of them younger players. Tom West, Padar, Louis Molden was moved on to Arsenal for €500,000. So recouping a little bit of money from fringe players and squad players there. And then let's tick over into this year, where the next signing was Carlos Sandoval, €4 million from Club America in Mexico. He's come in, he's going to be a centre-back, ideally in time a ball-playing defender. That's going to take a little bit of work. He can also play at full-back if needs be. But another young player, 20 years old, decent current ability, lots of potential. And that's really the theme of revamping this Leicester squad, was getting good young quality players in that are going to develop but are also able to compete at the time as well. Then after Sandoval, there was a few transfers that went through the 1st of July. Rami Ben-Sabini, he was brought in by the previous manager. It was already agreed, 33-year-old Algerian left-back. Not a player that I wanted, but there's nothing I can do about that. The next three, Sadi, Chinda and Fidel, all youth players come in for free as well. Then that was followed up by another signing from South America, Omar Espinaza, just under €1 million. He's come in, going to be very much a fringe player this first year. I want him to get used to that deep line playmaker role. As you can see, 6'3", 13 stone, big physical presence, so hopefully he can develop into that role. But his main competition this year is an 18 million signing. Irinu, that's come in, another deep line playmaker, already 4-star current ability with 5-star potential. capped at under 20 level for Brazil. Hopefully he can go on to make his international debut soon. But this is a player that can do it all. Could also play as a box-to-box midfielder, I think. He's got the tackling, he's got the passing, he's got the technique, the vision, willing to work for the team as well. I think he could be a big player going forward and a steal at less than 18 million euros. Then continuing the theme of our America and South America raid, Mexican Jesus Vargas has come in to provide competition up front. He's coming from Pumas, very ambitious wonder kid, 5-star potential, 3-star current ability. 4 goals in 11 international appearances already. I think he's going to be one for the future, and even quite possibly the present as well, looking at these abilities. Then as we got towards the end of the transfer window, we had a lot of money left in the bank to spend, and I'll show you some of the other transfers going out after these two. We've got a new goalkeeper in Jose Manuel Carvajal. He's coming from Celta Vigo. We activated his minimum release clause, 19-year-old. Very well-rounded keeper already. 2.5-star current ability, not the best, but he is 4.5-star potential. The reason that we let him go will become apparent shortly. And then to balance out the signings a little bit, we brought in Jack Hercules, an English 21-year-old wonder kid, or was a wonder kid at the time. He's currently a committed attacking midfielder. Now, I see him a bit more of a box-to-box midfielder. He can tackle, 6'1", 12 stone, reasonable on the physicals. He's good going forward, he's good defensively, so we are training him to be a box-to-box midfielder. He was brought in at 40 million euros, a lot of money, but I think worth it in the long run. So all in all, we've got 127 million euros there, plus another 106 for Bazuba and Vieira, bringing that to a total of 233 million spent. And then if we look at where we are on players sold, we've already seen Felix Bamford, and then we've got a couple of players leaving on frees. Tahar Ben Younes went on to Ajax. He was only 22 years old, but already at his maximum potential, so he was moved on to Ajax for 30 million euros. Then Gibraltar, a player that I thought was probably average at best. For some reason, he was garnering a lot of attention, so we moved him on to Arsenal. There was a lot of people in for him, and we got 60 million euros for him, so over the moon with that transfer. It's one that may come bite us in the bum, but we look at his history, he's not a proven goal scorer, so I think justified in getting the 60 million for him. Gabriel Menino then left to Norwich for 37.5 million, a player that was out on loan last year. Zach Booth, a young player that came back on loan, and then we moved him on to Brentford for 5 million. A couple more young players then going out on loan. Matt Vienko was entering the last year of his contract, and also with the new left back coming in, thought it was appropriate to move him on at 32-year-old. So he's gone to Zenit for 10.25, rising to 13.5 million. Danny Loader, I was in two minds about whether to move him on or not. He was on big wages, 28-year-old, after coming back from a long injury. Burnley came in and offered 40 million originally, which I was astounded by, but forgot to transfer list him. He turned Burnley down at the first attempt, and then we could only get 18 million in the end for him. But it's 18 million for a player that was probably going to be a fringe player, and after that long injury, whether he would be effective or not, I don't know. Then two of the bigger players leaving the club coming up. We've got firstly Wesley Farfana going to AC Milan for 60 million. I initially didn't want to let him go, but then he wanted to leave, so we agreed a price of 60 million. Milan paid that, and out he went. And then the reason we brought in a new keeper, I wasn't going to bring in Carvajal until it was clear that Truscottia was wanting to leave. Now, Carvajal came in first. Truscottia, we managed to keep eking Southampton a little bit more each time, and eventually we got 25 million for him, which for a 33-year-old keeper, I think was great business. Yes, keepers can play a little bit longer, but for a player that's very much at the later end of his peak years, if not starting to decline, I think 25 million was a great deal. So that sums up the summer. The finances now look very healthy. We've got 63 million in the bank. Still got a transfer budget of 68 million. I'm not going to spend that unless we've got great options in the winter period. The wage budget looking very healthy. Currently spending 2 million euros. We've got $500,000 free on the wage budget, which is always nice to see. And then just before we wrap up the video, the next game we've got will be Manchester United. So it'll be interesting to see how this new squad compares to a last season's squad. Having beaten Man United 2-1 at the end of last season, we will be playing them in the next episode. So if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager content on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.